What's up, everybody? Especially to you, my brother Junior. How's it? How's it? How's it? This is Zoldi. Welcome back to Talking Story About Smoking. We are on session 20. Tik Tok. Last session was No Act Kanak. You may already have realized that you're trying to work harder at convincing yourself that the taste of smoking isn't like dipping that spent cigarette in a wet ashtray and squeezing out the juice and swishing it in your mouth. And you possibly starting to experience the smell from the two fingers where you hold the cigarette is actually as strong smelling as nasty, rotten, concentrated, pungent black asphalt tar, or maybe you're acting. Maybe you do like it. I won't judge. So here we are, session 20, Tik Tok. You know, in my field, timing is so critical that if we were off by half a second, we wouldn't be able to communicate. You know how much is spent on timing? You get different tiers of servers that all they do is make sure that everybody is on the same time. You know that they even came with a term that deals specifically with time, or not specifically, but we use that's everybody knows. That is called drift. There's oh yeah, we're in drift this much. According to AI, if Earth stopped rotating for even a second, it would be a catastrophic event, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. The Earth's surface moves at incredible speeds due to its rotation, particularly at the equator, around 1,000 miles per hour. A sudden stop would cause everything not firmly attached to the ground, including people, buildings, and the atmosphere, to continue moving at that speed, leading to massive winds, tsunamis, earthquakes, and widespread destruction. End quote. To me, time is not money. Time is more than money. On a prolonged scale, if you look at everything that happened in your life so far, we are where we are now because of the things that happened to us 5 years ago. So, whatever things we do now will affect where we will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and beyond. The version of the book that I read of The Easy Way to Stop Smoking was his 1999 third edition. His first edition was back in 1987. So, the version I read, he talks about how he has the luxury of readdressing his doubts. Specifically, he had heartburn on a topic of when to quit. He mentioned his insecurity of making sure he comes across effectively but firmly on his expert. Really, he never come across too hard or too soft. He just wanted to make sure the message sunk in. The message was this: when is the best time to quit? You know the answer already, Junior. And you know deep down in your heart that this is your best shot. You already started to become aware of your readiness and preparedness to accept it. You already see the top of the mountain and pump to get across and hear the next sentence. Yes, the time is now. Carr was concerned to blast that anywhere in the beginning of the book because he never liked scare anybody. The funny thing is, I knew that it eventually, that word would have to come. So the tipping point is, which would I rather have? Now, I have to go on high blood pressure pills and take diabetes shots versus news that now I can look back and see that I used to smoke and am an ex-smoker. Or Dr. Saito telling me that the smoking finally caught up to me and now you got to get ready for cancer treatments. versus news that I now gonna be completely rid of this drug addiction and never go back to even picking up a cigarette again. And finally, now I gotta see if the blue pill going to even work on my womp. Versus now I can look forward to Blue Ball's factory cranking its wheels. When the now came around for me, I was so amazed at how easy it was and told my coworker Josh about the book. I recently saw him and he told me that he did read the book, but his mother was going through some financial stuff and he had to delay the quitting. Needless to say, he's still smoking. I still go out in a smoke pit at my work just for Roca and get some fresh open air and bump into the same guys that still smoke. I can see why Carr saw that this topic is so sensitive. For me, it was easy. I already started getting pissed off at Puff and saw that Puff was having its way with me. I began to think that it wasn't fair that others did not have to deal with Puff and I had to. At least I thought I had to. My register of bytes, logical bits, for the reasons for me to continue smoking began to flip. My illogical reasoning and loops I created began to close its circuits, and my desire to smoke was being neutralized. It has begun. The only difference between what was and what became was my decision on what day it was going to be. I knew that choosing the date of when that new birth from quitting smoking was to happen was your most important date you picking in your whole life. Carr's experience and advice throughout the years of helping literally thousands of people in choosing the date to quit are worth putting a magnifying glass on. Here it is. When? Now. No better time than now. You ripe already. Number 2. Pick it wisely. If you smoke when it is downtime, like the thing is cruise, and you like relax, you smoke. Quit when you don't have much downtime. On the flip side, if you smoke only when you stress out, pick a time when you foresee some downtime. You know better. You know you better than Puff. Puff is not your friend. Puff will tell you it isn't a good time now. Puff is telling you get some big events around the corner. You can pick a date now. Number 3, do not cut down on your cigarettes until that day. In fact, use that time to observe the taste, smell, feeling. Look at the other people smoking around you too. Look at the wetsuit release. They're going right back on. Look at the siren get muffled just to hear that creeping siren waving in right behind. Realize the untied shoelace on their feet as they smoke, just to watch them whisk away with the shoelaces slowly grinding its way back onto their feet with a tad more tightness from the last. Number 4. 3 weeks look ahead is more than enough time. Christmas or a wedding should not throw you off. In fact, you can use that event as your date. You won't ever forget it. You got this, Junior. You cannot not pick a date within the next 3 weeks from today. If you're uncertain, stop at midnight tonight. Take the date down, and that is your date. Like I said, for me, was easy. Too easy. When I read this chapter, the book almost power already. Mom's birthday was 3 days away from the time I read this chapter and said, wow, I can tell Mom that her birthday gonna be a day I gonna be celebrating too. Gonna be my birthday too, because that's the day of the non-smoking me. the new me. So I actually slowed down my readings just to line it up. It was 11 p.m. European time on her birthday. Simple as that. As we close chapter 20, Tik Tok, this is your grabbing hold of the controls away from Puff by choosing the date of your new birthday. Next session, 21, is called Scaredy Cat. Those topics we're going to cover on that one is to seal the deal. I needed to go over it, and you going to be able to apply those tactics in more ways than smoking. Maybe you did already, maybe you didn't. If you found this to be helpful so far and want to see bigger, better talking story sessions, after you listen, bust out that tropical itch back scratcher and spank that button https://buymeacoffee.com/surf-o-snow in the description below. And also hit like, subscribe, notification, whatever's. Spank them because you want to show your appreciation and believe in this work. Chew! So with that, my brother Junior, ahui ho, Kaden.